Good evening. Welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams. I'm your host. And to my right and to your left, of course, is the lovely Valerie Eliason. Hi, Val.
Hey, Glenn.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Very well, thanks. I hope everybody had a great holiday. Welcome back to another Monday here at BNN-TV. And we're coming to you live from our beautiful studios here. And if you'd like to join us, you're more than welcome to. Give us a call at 617-708-3290. Dave is in the other room. Back. It's good to have you back, Davey. Thanks for being in there. Give us a call and let us know what's going on with you in your artful lives. How are you?
I'm great. How was your trip?
It was great. Well, it was great. The super producer Janice and I abandoned the family again this year on Thanksgiving. We decided it was going to be our turn. And, well, we've done it for the last couple of years, and we have a big thing on Christmas Eve. We'll see you, I hope, Christmas Eve,
yes.
You know. We do a big thing Christmas Eve, but Thanksgiving is, you know, our house is the old family home, you know, so it's always been the place where people come and kind of congregate, and, you know, it's getting to where, you know, the kids are all grown up, and they all want to go to their significant others' families' houses, and I understand that, so we take Thanksgiving to ourselves.
Now, what about Larry?
Well, fabulous Rebecca comes over and takes care of Larry. Larry was very upset with us when we got home.
I can imagine.
Saturday night. It was like, where have you been? And you could tell he hadn't done anything, and that Larry's my cat. And we knew, you could tell about the house was neat and stuff, nothing was wrong. As soon as we came in, he started knocking things over.
They do that when they're mad.
He's an ass, I'll tell
Yeah.
you. But it was fun. We drove up to Portland, Maine, and I can never say now I've never been to Maine.
I still can't believe you've never been to Maine up until
you know,
this
it's
point.
funny because once I you know, all the places around New England that I've played and done, and you know, and all that stuff, I don't think I ever have. But there were a couple of things. Orchard Beach.
Yeah.
I said, wait a minute, that's kind of familiar. I remember, and then York Beach. I remember that from way back in the years, but
You must have been to Maine at some point.
I don't remember it. See, that's the problem. Rock and roll will do that to you.
Get you all fuzzy in the brain.
Get you all fuzzy in the brain. Might have been there, but I don't remember. But it was a great trip. We went up and stayed up in one of the hotels up there, up in the higher floors, looking out over the bay. It was very, very nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we ate and we went to the Portland Museum of Art.
Yes.
is incredible. It really was beautiful. There was a couple of extra exhibits going on there, and each floor has a different kind of, you know, contemporary art is on one, you know, traditional landscapes, and then you got the Homer section where Winslow Homer, and we saw a lot of that work. There was some Van Goghs there, which we sat and enjoyed. It was nice, and we went and had a little bit to eat down in the lounge downstairs. It was a full day.
That's awesome.
It was full. It was beautiful. We had a good time.
Portland is such a great place for art. I loved when I went there last spring. I felt like there was art everywhere, murals everywhere. It was just around the time where we were getting hammered with all that snow, and they had made these big, sort of totem pole looking snow sculptures.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
Yeah. One of the things that I noticed was that the community was young, and everybody was pretty artful and arty, you know, had that arty Val thing going on. What?
Lots of record stores.
Lots of record stores, and you know what else was there? There was this place called Guitar Grave.
Yes.
Yes, right on Congress Street, I guess, or something, where all these used guitars are and stuff. And I went in, you know, and I'm looking around, and I'm a little older than everybody in there, and I'm kind of looking and saying, can I try that guitar, you know? And the guy goes, yeah, do you have a belt on? You got any rings? And I said, well, you know, yeah, okay, I'll cover them up and stuff. In about 15 minutes, we were all sitting there playing. I said, this is great. This is I got to play a nice tenor guitar. So that was a lot of fun for me.
Awesome.
You know what I also did was I got up early and went out for walks.
Explored
and
a little.
Walked around and explored. Boy, there's some beautiful building architecture is unbelievable. It's old, and it was a great trip.
Yeah.
We went and saw some live music at a place called the Dogfish Cafe.
Any relation to the beer?
Beer?
A beer? Dogfish beer?
Oh, I don't know.
Dogfish head?
I don't know.
Dogfish?
I don't know.
I'm saying this wrong.
Well, this was instead of catfish, it was dogfish.
Okay.
And we got to see two acts there. There's Cat Lyle playing on the guitar and playing some old standards. Then keyboard player came up with the woman singer that kind of knocked us out, and so it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we ate at Becky's Diner.
Nice.
Famous place down on the wharf down there, so it was kind of fun.
Get some good seafood. Some
Got
lobsters.
some great seafood, yes.
Chowder.
Chowder. I love my chowder.
I love my chowder.
So it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
What did you do for the day?
Well, I'm sure you remember her, Eleanor Fisher, one of our past guests. She was actually on when Miles and I were hosting a few weeks ago when you were at the WGB.
I know exactly who she is, yes.
She invited me to come to her home and have a tour of her beautiful studio on the top floor and all of her paintings and art.
What was that like? That must have been fabulous.
I have never seen anything like it before. It's just this beautiful Victorian old house, and every single square inch is covered with either art she's collected from friends or art she's made or little antiques, and it's just, I've never seen anything so eclectic and beautiful.
How did you squirrel that in? That's nice.
It was so generous of her to
She invited
me
you to
up.
go?
Yeah.
That's great.
And it was so kind. She showed me all these paintings she was in the middle of working on. She even let me try a couple little experiments on some of the paintings.
Really?
She works a lot with...
Well, you're collaborating with one of the bigs now. That's great.
She works a lot with heat guns after the acrylic paint has dried. And when you heat it up to a certain degree, it starts to bubble.
Yeah.
And so, we were going over parts of the painting she was working on, and parts of it are bubbling, and the colors are becoming more dark and vibrant, and we had a blast.
She give you a bunch of ideas, did she?
She definitely did, yeah.
Well,
definitely went home. I was
I'm glad
very
you had that
inspired.
experience. That's great.
Yeah, it was a really good time.
That's fun. That's fantastic. I know that you celebrated on Saturday with your family out in Western Mass. Did you do anything special on the Thursday or Friday, or did you just you two just
a great Thanksgiving of just curling up on the couch?
Yeah, that's nice.
With some lamb and apple pie and the dog, and
that's good.
Yeah, no family bickering, no.
We'll save that for Christmas.
Yeah. It was good though. I really enjoyed it.
That's good. I'm glad. Are you going to be doing artful things for Christmas?
Yes, I am.
Good.
I was thinking of making some of my own cards, actually.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You should talk to Jan. Jan does that a lot.
Yeah, she's so good at it.
She makes some incredible cards, and she's got. She's always imaging. She's always doing something, in Photoshop or in Corel or whatever. She's got several amazing programs that she does her visual work on. But every now and then she'll open up a terabyte and go through something and find something she made 10 years ago or something. Go back in and do something to it, and it ends up being cards and stuff that she sends out.
That's awesome.
She's also, I have to announce that on Saturdays, between now and Christmas, Art Studio 99 at 99 Belgrade Ave will be open to the public.
That's awesome.
Yes, we're opening the gallery, and for people to come in and get some of those cards, get some ornaments, get some gifts and stuff that they'd want to share with anybody. So that's kind of the first time this year we've actually opened up, the gallery up to people. So
you guys gave me a great ornament last year. I loved it with the sort of. It was like the tissue paper made it stained glass around the. I loved it.
That's great. Good. I'm
I'm
glad.
hang it on my tree this year.
Good. I hope so. Hope
Yeah.
it lasts a long time.
Sure.
But Janice has decided, let's get funky with it. Let's get some people into the house, and that's the idea.
Yeah.
So 99 Belgrade Ave.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna have to stop by.
Yes, please do. couple of things. We've got a great guest tonight. We're going to be looking at some beautiful paintings. He's a mass art guy, so I know that he's got some stories about that place.
Yeah, we love our mass art peeps.
We're gonna get Chris over here in a little while, but so we were talking. I was talking to some people about because Janice does ornaments in the lighthouses, but she also does some fine artwork stuff, you know. And so we're going to start talking again. We've done it in years past where we've kind of brought up the subject and talked, but we had a couple of extra minutes today, and I wanted to talk to you about where do people draw the line between fine art and craft? You know, I mean, myself personally, I think anything that anybody kind of maneuvers with their hands and turns it into something that's enjoyable to people's eyes or instills an emotion in somebody is art.
Yeah.
Is art. But for some reason, there's and I noticed it when we were away because we went into a lot of different places and stuff, and they actually drew the line where art, this is art, and this is craft. What do you have any thought or definition of what would be?
That's tricky, because I mean, I think all crafts are art.
But all art is not craft?
Ah, gosh. See, I'm not sure. Well, to me, when I think of crafts, I think of something that I guess is almost at, not a commercial level, but is produced.
Like a mass-produced type of a thing?
Kind of, but not in a sense that every single piece is the same, but that you create them as a collection of things to either give to people or sell to people. I see it more as like a store, you know, a crafts store or an art. I don't know.
See, I think some people say a craft is something if you go and get something and do something to it, that's more craft.
Yeah.
Because it's being, ready, crafty with it, and you're kind of altering something that's already kind of stable.
Okay.
And art is more of a blank canvas.
All right.
You know, and a one-of-a-kind thing. Like if we decoupaged these two cups, they'd look different, but they'd still be kind of like this structural thing. It's a cup, it's a mug.
Now, what about people that say, like, weave baskets? Is that an art or a craft?
Oh, you're not going to get me to say it's anything but art, you know. But I've always, and I think that's a great example actually, because there are baskets that are woven mechanically.
Yes.
And there are baskets that people sit and spend time and make sure that the fold is right and do this and that and the other thing. Is quilting a craft, or is it?
You know what, I think maybe crafts are more something that can be functionally used than, say, art. You know, when you think of crafts, I think of like bags, mugs, ceramics, vases, more things that you can use in your everyday life.
Okay.
As opposed to something that you would put on display.
Right. Because there's the Fuller Craft Museum, and then there's the Portland Museum of Arts.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe the two don't. It's always been kind of an inside war I have with myself, because I'm constantly trying. I'll go back to my original description. Anything somebody does with their hands that manipulates something, painting, sculpting, decoupaging, assemblage, any kind of mixed media or something like that, is art, because it's something you're creating.
We have to bust out the dictionary for this.
Okay.
Okay.
That's great.
Maybe on break.
Hey, on Saturday was the tree lighting down in Rosendale Square.
Yes, unfortunately
and it rained out, but I've gotten great reviews from everybody that was at attendance. The Sacred Heart Choir performed.
Oh,
it was
awesome.
very, very exciting for them to go down. They are the gospel choir from Sacred Heart School. in church. They went and performed. They had people from the Nutcracker were there. No, the Urban Nutcracker came to do some performing and stuff. The great mayor of the city was there. They threw the switch, and Santa Claus showed up all in the rain. It was, but people still came out. I mean, it's a great tribute to the people of Rosendale and the cats that run those programs. That people still come out.
Is that why my lights were flickering through that big switch?
Yeah, they're through the big switch, and everybody's
rolling blackouts through Rosendale.
In Rosendale because of the tree in Rosy Square. But the folks that put that on are our good buddies and our good friends that spend
Boston Main Street.
Boston Main Streets that helps keep us here on the air. We're very, very proud of our affiliation with them. A couple of things that they do is Main Streets is that volunteer-driven organization that helps revitalize the business districts around Boston. They started in Rosendale. Well, Main Streets was a program that was done kind of, on a larger scale, strip malls and stuff like that, because the format, the way they put it together, it's a four-tiered thing that helps revitalize business areas. There's the administrative group that pulls everything together and makes sure that the funding and all of that stuff. But then there's also the design committee, which is all architects and people who are graphic designers and stuff, and know how to design storefront looks, how to do signage for buildings and stuff like that. All of those kind of, when you're coming through a community and you see those vertical flags that are hanging around that have all the designs on, the design committee do all that kind of stuff. Then there's the promotions committee, which throws some events like the tree lighting, like the ever popular Farmers Market down in Rosendale Square, which is now grown into like one of the biggest,
best one in the city.
There's no question about it. I mean, we have people that are using the Rosendale Village Main Street's Farmers Market as a destination to come and meet people and get their grapes.
Yeah, I always get my grapes there.
Get your grapes there. Yeah. But it's turned into this great hang where it was actually one Saturday in this past summer. I saw the numbers. I couldn't believe it, where 5,500 people came to Rosendale Square.
Holy
guacamole. To celebrate with Rosendale and its Main Streets program. So the other thing they do is they also work with the property owners where they get demographic information so they'll know the right kind of business to put down there. And the thing is, it's all about family-run business, small business, getting people to come down to start their first-time business, their first, small business. And that's one of the things that they do very well. So if you see somebody in a Main Street t-shirt, thank them for Val and I, because we really appreciate all their support here at BNN and at It's All About Arts.
I love that they work so much with the signage, like you mentioned. I feel like that's such a lost art. Hand-painted signs and with the enamel, and it's
well, if you look
so
at the
beautiful.
signage in Rosendale Square or any of the Main Street districts around, the signage is fabulous.
Yeah,
it's incredibly well done work. And that's one of the things. Let's say, we're going to start a new business and we're going to sell crafts, but we know all about crafts. We know all about how to kind of get them in the window and all that stuff. But we have no idea about that sign out front. We don't know what we can and cannot do as far as putting stuff out onto the sidewalk and how do we design our windows so people will feel invited. But they do that. They help you do that. And there was a part of the program several years ago, I'm sure that it's still being used, where if you take the design that the design committee does, they'll pay for half of it. Yeah. So that's kind of helping with financial help as well. So they do some great stuff. So we're very, very proud of them in Rosendale and in West Roxbury, Hyde Park, South End, all wherever they are. There's 22 of them around the city.
Yeah.
So they're very entrenched in making Boston a strong economic business district.
They've done a great job.
They've done a great job.
Yeah.
The other thing we need to talk about for a couple of minutes is this building we're in.
Yes.
We're going to quiz Chris, see if he's paying attention.
Okay.
This used to be This used to be a power station for the MBTA.
For the NASA International Space Program.
Yes, for NASA. for the orange line, which goes up and down Washington Street 100 years ago. And what it did was the elevator, which has been gone now for many, many years. But what it did was, here's where the power was in order to get that train to work. And as technology would, and as you know, powering these kind of trains would take, this became obsolete and sat kind of dormant with nothing in it for many, many years, 25, 30 years, something ridiculous. And BNN came along and bought the building through the partnership of many, Urban Edge and the city and lots of different people that got involved with turning this building into something more productive and something that's going to be a staple and a cornerstone in the neighborhood here.
And it kept so much of the original structure.
Well, you know something, that's what you do. You want it to be historically correct. You don't want to overdo the facade. You don't want to tear this down. Yeah, you don't do all of that kind of thing. And in fact, they got a whole bunch of. They became a historic preservation came along and deemed the building a historic landmark. So now we have to show certain parts of the building. So when you come into here, we're at 3025 Washington Street, right in Eggleston Square on Washington Street. So if you come into the building, you'll notice you can see all the way to the ceiling. You can see the big crane that they used to pick up the generators with is still here on display. So it keeps that historic feel, But what's happening in this building now is BNN, Boston Neighborhood Network television station is here now. And what it is, it's an opportunity for the citizens of the city of Boston to do television programming. Many, many years ago when cable access came to be, what it was an opportunity to give the public a voice, a chance to use the airways and to get on and say, I don't think this and I want that and I think, any kind of, message or any kind of communication that they wanted to do. And what happens here now is the station you're watching right now, Channel 9, is the news and information station. And what Val and I do is we bring artists to you, and we bring all of your different entertainment. We let you know what's happening artful around the city. And nonprofits can come and do that. So if you have a nonprofit out there and you want to come and get your mission statement talked about and get all of that, this is the place to come and do that.
Yep.
There's another side of BNN where you become a member, and you take some Final Cut Pro, and you take some how to use the cameras, lighting, and how to do sound, and how to make sure how to host the show.
Yeah.
And
sign out the equipment.
Sign out the equipment, go out and shoot the local tree lighting in your neighborhood, or the porch fest. Rolling blackouts. Bring it back here and edit it in a great lab downstairs, which was provided by the great Timothy Smith people, and they put it on TV. So if you're interested in doing something like that, becoming a member here, you go to www.bnntv.org. Click on Janice Williams or
Jim Atwood.
Jim Atwood's another great guy here. He's been here since black and white TV. And Jim is the guy that can direct you through all of the things that you need to do. Janice Williams is the manager of the membership type of thing and outreach. So if doing television on BNN-TV is something you want to do, that's where you go, www.bnntv.org. And surprisingly enough, if you go there right now and click on what's playing now, Val and I will show up.
Our smiling faces.
It'll be Val and I sitting there on your computer. So we stream all over the place. Anyways, enough of that.
All right.
You got a Val's View today?
I do. I have a good Val's View.
Okay, that's great. I think we should get this show started.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you, Val.
Thank you, Glenn.
Listen, gang, you're watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn. This is Val. We're coming to you live from Studio B. Once again, if you'd like to join us, we're at 617-708-3290. Give us a call. Let us know what's going on artfully in your community, in your life. This is what it's all about here at BNN. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Val's View. Listen, don't go away. We'll be right back.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
society. I lost my soul to rock and roll. 'Cause rock and roll is set you free.
Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for hanging in there with us. And I guess I have to say sorry, Larry. I didn't mean it. I apologize. I want to let everybody know that if you want to see this program again, and I'm sure that you will, this show will be up sometime either tonight or sometime this time tomorrow on our YouTube station. Our YouTube station, if you go to your station and you put in It's All About Arts and the number 1, all these programs will come up and you can get a chance to check out some of our older shows and some of the Tonight Show will be up there sometime this time tomorrow, I hope. You can check that out. Also, please go to our Facebook page and like us there, where our numbers are soaring. It's very exciting. We're very happy to have that kind of thing happening. So we appreciate all the love out there and appreciate everything going into our 18th season. You guys have been doing great. We thank you for that. And part of the reason this show has been so successful is because of the next segment. I am so happy and proud to turn it over to the great Valerie Eliason for another Val's View.
You're too kind, Glenn. Thank you very much. So we have a couple great things coming up. I can't believe tomorrow's December already. Hopefully the winter goes by just as fast and we don't even notice all those snowstorms. So first on our list we have the Lightsaber Build Party. And it's going on Saturday, December 19th to 1 to 3 p.m. It's at Parts and Crafts in Somerville, which is on Somerville Ave, so easy to remember. So help support Somerville Family Hackerspace. What is a hackerspace, you may ask? Great question, because I didn't know what a hackerspace was before this. It's a community-operated workspace where people with common interests can meet, socialize, and collaborate. So they do lots of different projects, lots of different themes all together, probably mainly crafts versus art, if we're going to get technical. So Somerville has a great Parts and Crafts. For all you Star Wars fans out there, they're going to have a lightsaber build party. So you have to build your own lightsaber. You don't have to use those dangerous fluorescent lamps anymore that shatter so easily. So there's a small fee just to cover the materials of the lightsaber because, you know, lightsabers can get expensive. So you head down, you know, you pay the little small fee, but you get to bring the lightsaber home and play with it and keep it forever and pretend you're Darth Vader, and it's awesome. Or Luke Skywalker. I'm not very good at the Star Wars, Star Trek references. Second on our list, we have the All-American Grooversity Festival. It's going on Saturday, December 5th from 1 to 5 p.m. in East Somerville Community School. So this is going to be the 4th annual Grooversity Festival, and it's hosted and supported by some of the awesome organizations that serve the youth in and around our community. So the festival will feature renowned drummers and percussionists, masters, and also performers by Somerville's public schools percussion groups and ensembles. There's going to be a 2-hour youth activity that'll feature different exhibitions, games, and lots of fun stuff for the kiddos to do. So definitely head down, check that out. This is going to be celebrating the 3rd win of Somerville for this All-American City Award. So it's really exciting. Definitely a big deal for us and a big deal for Somerville. So it's going to be a free afternoon filled with fun, so go check that out if you're into drums and percussion or music, and head on down. So third on our list, we have Boston's annual Santa Speedo Run. That's right, Speedo. Think David Hasselhoff. He's the one on Baywatch, right? So Saturday the 12th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's going on at Boylston Street in Boston. So right in the middle of it all, you're going to be wearing your Speedo, your bathing suit, two-piece or your tankini. So nothing says Speedo time like the month of December. And freezing temperatures and frigid wind blowing between the Hancock building and the rest of the city. So this is Boston's annual Speedo run, and it's an awesome, fun-loving event to get all who dare to participate into the holiday spirit. So now the run is just under 2 miles, so you're not going to be out there for too long in your Speedo skivvies. And it's a fundraiser actually for the Play Ball Foundation of Boston that provides a lot of much-needed funding to Boston public schools, primarily after after school sports programs. So it's a really good event to get involved in. So dig out your bathing suit or your Speedo out of the closet. Throw on a Santa hat. That's kind of the theme down there. You're going to see a lot of red Speedos and red Santa hats. If you're bold enough, it is going to be chilly. So you do need to register for this fun event, as it is a fundraising for the Boston charities. So definitely check that out and grab your Speedo or pick one up while you're doing your holiday shopping and head on down. So I hope you get to do some of those fun things. Hopefully the Speedo one. I think that one will be really interesting to watch. I'm a big baby when it comes to cold, so I don't think I'll be participating in that one. But I hope you get to try some of those fun things that are going on. I'm going to take a short break. When we come back, we have an awesome guest. He's going to show us some of his beautiful paintings. So don't go anywhere. Stick with us, and we'll be right back after a couple minutes.
Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for hanging in there with us. We really do appreciate you. Val, that was a great job. Listen, I want to remind everybody that we are coming to you live. If you have any questions, you can give us a call at 617-708-3290. And check us out on Facebook at It's All About Arts. And check us out, please, at your YouTube station, It's All About Arts, and the #1. But right now, it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce you to an incredible artist and just a fabulous person. We're just very happy to have him here. Chris Davis, thank you so much for coming into the studio.
Thank you, Glenn.
I really appreciate you being here. You are an artist, and I'm going to ask you my standard question when I ask artists when I have them for the first time. If you were designing a website and there's a pull-down menu of different kinds of artists, contemporary, fine arts, abstract, landscape. What category would you have to kind of round yourself into?
If I were to pull down a group of artists, I mean, I'm very highly inspired by Alex Gray. He does a lot of spiritual artwork.
Okay.
It's all very much based on the human body and its spiritual connection, like to the planet. Or H.R. Geiger.
Okay.
Oh, I love his work.
Oh, it's beautiful. You know, it's nothing like what I do, but their work always, you know.
But if you had to put a category to your art,
To my art?
yeah, what kind of artist are you? Besides fabulous, of course.
I guess it's abstract.
Yeah.
I fought it for a long time, but it's really like, I think it's the most, like, the widest category that you'd put my artwork into.
Yeah. Well, Val asked you an interesting question before when we were just hanging out before the show. How long you've been painting? And you said all your life. Have you always kind of dabbled with the abstract, or was there a time when you were doing portraiture and landscape and kind of more traditional art?
The only time I got really into traditional work was when I was in school, and because I, have to get that formal education doing like the plein air paintings and all the observing and still lifes and portraiture and drawing from observation, and that was when I got the biggest part of that in me. Most of what I did before that was all abstract or what would come out of me.
Right.
I didn't know how to categorize it back then.
Right. Are you from the Boston area?
Yes, I grew up in the suburbs, just about an hour outside of the city.
Okay, that's cool. But you went to Mass Art.
Yes.
You were doing something else quite artful, and you were involved in the music business, and kind of said, I want to express myself in another way. And you made a career change and went back to school. Congratulations. That's a commendable thing to do, and you just recently graduated.
Yes.
Congratulations. How's that?
It's nice to be out.
It's nice to be out in the world.
Yes.
Well, that's great. I really appreciate you spending some time with us today. I really appreciate it.
Do you miss it at all? I mean, now you get to make your own deadlines,
I
of
do.
course.
Yeah, it's fun being around in a positive atmosphere where everybody has the same goals and the same same goals and aspirations. It's like it's inspiring. You get to walk out every day and just see what somebody else has done, or all the kids in your class. But then you get to see all the other studios as well. And
yeah, it's an incredibly artful place.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
absolutely.
teachers too. There's just so much history in what they've done and what they can bring to the table, who they've gotten to work with. Like, it was wonderful to hear all of their stories.
Yeah, it's a great place if you have any chance to get in. And you had some doubts on whether you were going to be accepted into the school, but I think that your portfolio probably spoke for itself.
It did. I mean, it was the one school I applied to. I wasn't going to go if I didn't get back into that school, and I got in with with the first try with the portfolio, and that was a sign.
That's great.
It was a sign to go back.
There most certainly was. We went to an event over there a couple of months ago, didn't we? What was the black and white?
Discover Roxbury.
Discover
Yeah,
Roxbury
black
was
and white.
holding a big event
That was
there.
so fun.
It was a lot of fun. They had these big, huge. I'm telling you, they had they had these big, huge rooms to go and check out some artful things.
Yeah, there's some great galleries over there. The Balcler Payne Gallery is enormous.
Yeah.
And they always have a lot of nice shows, especially with local artists or students.
Yeah, this was nice. They were featuring artists from Roxbury. It was unbelievable, fabulous work. Now, when you're working, and it's time, do you have a dedicated space to work in?
I do. I
That's
fortunately have. I took over the smallest bedroom in my apartment as my studio.
That's how to do it. There's nothing more rewarding for yourself to leave the room after your head has blown up and come back and it's exactly the same way you left it. I mean, there's nothing that helps your creativity more than that kind of luxury. What is the setting like? Is there a lot of light? Is there natural light? No curtains? Is there Mozart? Is there Temptations? Is there?
My room is very much filled with all of my work. It's just everything I have that I've held on to since I think the earliest painting I have that I've kept was from 2006, I guess, almost 10 years old now. I unfortunately have no natural light. I've had to install all my own lighting. It's just in the back of the house. It is the smallest room, but it gets the job done. Spend $100 on lighting from Home Depot, and you can get some pretty decent.
You can.
Pretty decent lighting.
They've got
going on for you.
some nice bulbs that'll give you the right He's got paintings 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years old. He's got paint. I got paint that old.
Now, a lot of your pieces we were discussing before are inspired by light. I imagine that played a big role in you setting up the light atmosphere in your studio. But what is it about light that inspires you so much?
You know, it's just, I'm not sure. It was like a couple years ago, I just, like, you know, when I was getting out of the sound industry and, like, you know, focusing so much on the music part, like, you know, a huge part of a live sound experience is the lighting. Like, you know, it can really set the mood. You can really change the mood of a whole room, you know, along with the music. It's like, it's kind of like they go hand in hand. It's the two biggest components of a live show. And it was just, once I fell away from sound engineering, the lighting was something that when I would go to a show, you can really take advantage of it and push the limits of your sound experience by involving this whole new, like, layer.
Well, concerts are very visual anyways.
Yes,
I mean, you know,
very visual experiences.
A performance like that is one of the great rooms that has a great light thing is the Paradise Cafe. It's Paradise on Commonwealth Avenue. They do seem to know how to get that kind of thing done. Aside from the amazing sound system they had there, but they seem to put their lights in the right spot.
Yeah.
You know, which is nice. Do you work on several pieces at a time?
When I work with oil paints, I do tend to work on several pieces at a time because, like, you know, it takes so long for them to dry sometimes. But recently I switched back to acrylics just because I hadn't touched acrylics in almost 4 or 5 years. And going back to acrylics, I'm finding how much faster I can work. So I'm at this battle right now of what do I do? Do I stick with one or do I stick with the other, or do I figure out how I can make them both, like, you know, work with each other?
You know, you said something interesting. I'm always going back to, we're going to see some of your beautiful work in just a couple of minutes, but you said something interesting where you said if a painting gets to a point where the adventure seems to be kind of deadlocked or you're not really satisfied with what's happening, that you'll actually start to remove some of the existing work with sandpaper maybe, or maybe with a knife or something, and to just kind of work backwards to try and see if you can get back to maybe where you're not removing the paint, you're not removing it as it was put on, but you're changing the feel and the atmosphere of the piece. Is that something that just came to you?
I can't recall the artist right now, but even there was another instance too of Michelangelo. He, the way he could even get light to show through his paintings, or if he wanted to get, like, you know, a nice highlight on something, he would sand it down or scratch it with stone in order to get the white from, like, you know, his, like, you know, underpaintings to shine through. And when I was, like, you know, reading that in one of my history books, that really sparked an interest in me. And so I tried it. And I was just, like, you know, I achieved this incredible, like, you know, layer of, you know.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked. It worked. That's right, yeah. And it just, that, I really kept taking that to a new level by, you know, I think I was in my studio one day and I hated this piece of work that I was working on, but I couldn't go back. I'd already put about 20 hours into it. And so I just ended up sanding the whole thing down, and then it was done. And then I looked at it and I was like,
amazing.
It was just an unexpected moment of clarity.
Like hitting rewind, kind of, but not quite.
Yeah, that's very important sometimes. Well, why don't we take a look at some of the pieces that you brought in? I think we've got some of them on the screen first. Talk me through what we're looking at.
Oh wow, the colors on this are gorgeous.
How big is this piece?
This was about 40 inches by 40 inches, which is a dimension I end up, you know, constantly finding myself working with. I did kind of almost like the perfect square.
Yeah.
This was one of the first few pieces I started working with when I started painting man-made light. And it was just, I didn't know how to narrow it down to the precision that I have it at now. It was just a very, like, you know, abstract, throw it up there point of view, where I was actually using a palette knife when I was doing these. But again, I've always kind of worked in a lot of layers, and, like, it started with, like, the yellow in the background, and then you can see I had a layer of oranges there and a layer of reds, and eventually, like, you know, this is just kind of what it came to be, to the point where I thought it looked like it could be a glare from a street light, like, you know, how you can catch a glare in a photo.
It's interesting that you say man-made light. Do you prefer, do you find that you prefer man-made light over natural lighting?
I do.
More control.
Exactly, far more control. And, you know, sometimes I think, like, you know, there are people that paint light where, like, you know, you can capture that light that, like, bounces off someone's head and it gets their shoulder and like half their body's in a shadow. And I just feel like you see that so much, and I was very frustrated by, I felt like I was seeing the same thing over and over again. But when I got captivated by like all this artificial light, it just
Opened so
it really
many
made
new.
a difference to me.
Yeah,
There's a lot more things you can do with it.
absolutely. This is amazing.
This was the one called Baby Steps. I got really stuck in what I was doing up to that point, and I was getting very frustrated with creating the same palette knife flashes of light over and over again. And my friend, who's a energy healer, his name is Matt McDonald. He works at Brigham and Women's Hospital and doing like hand-on healing for people.
Oh wow, like Reiki?
Yes, just like Reiki.
Huh.
And so he had me come in for a session. He was like, you know, I'll get you out of this grind. I'll clear your karmic past, and so we can open up all these energetic doors. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'll take this for what you're telling me what it is. It sounds a little crazy, but what can it hurt? And so that was actually the vision that I had
That's
when he had.
I like this.
It's like a kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was a lot of fun too. This was strangely a painting. Underneath all those layers was actually a skull.
Oh wow.
And I was very fascinated with skulls for a long time while I was in school and having to paint still lifes and everything. And I went through a period where my left ear actually kind of almost stopped working. I lost like 50% of hearing in my ear. And
Rock and roll will do that to
exactly. And they told me like I wasn't allowed to be around any loud noises or sound for a long time, so I had to stay away from music, which was unfortunate.
That's a drag.
This is all coming out of the ear.
Your paintings are very geometric. I mean, they absolutely show light in these beautiful dimensions. Do you freehand a lot of the straight lines, or do you use a flat edge, or what materials do you use?
I like using a flat edge to get all the line work, like
just right.
Precise.
Yeah.
But it's only the lines that emit out from that center point that do get made. All the other lines are kind of like I dictate where the shapes go and where their edges finish off, and I liked a lot of pencil work to still stay there from the straight edge. It becomes a part of it.
Yeah, I like.
I have. We're coming close to the end here, but I wanted to make sure that I asked you. Do you map something out in your mind or take some sketches before you start, or is it a complete adventure for you?
It's usually an adventure. Some parts of it are mapped out, but most of it is all. I'll have a vision, or I'll see something in my brain. Something will pop in, and then I'll know like I jot it down as a sketch, and I have to go in the studio with that sketch.
Right. And you kind of stay true to that, or will you vary off when you get from that sketch point to now you're up on your canvas, and you kind of go, well, maybe I'm going to push it in another direction.
It will always veer off to like I like the development of the paintings to be organic. I like them to kind of evolve themselves, even though I know that.
And when do you know you're done?
They tell me.
They do.
I suppose they tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one of the hardest things I got with my students is making sure they know when they're finished. Because they can go, well, I'm gonna a little more. Oh.
I know.
And you go, what are you doing? So knowing when you're done is very, very important. Is there a website people can go to discover more things about you?
Yeah, it's www.search.net. It's searchdavis.net. It's my name backwards. SIRHCDAVIS.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to link that up to our website so that people just click on your name.
Perfect.
And go right to there so people can have get to know you more. I mean, we've learned a lot already, but do you have any shows coming up we need to know about?
I should have a show coming up in the South End. It will be in the SOA Art District. I'm not sure that.
All the contracts haven't been signed yet, and the details need to be worked out. But
who hasn't heard that before?
I heard a lot. But that's great, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for coming.
Glenn.
I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Will you say goodnight with us,
yes,
please?
Yes.
I'm gonna put this up. Look at this piece, gang. Isn't that beautiful? We're gonna hold that right there so that people can get a real feel of what that's all about. Listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being here with us. Like we like to say every week, get out there and do something artful for yourself. Do I have this right?
No, yeah.
I do? Okay, good. Get out and do something artful for yourself. I hope everybody's ready for a great holiday season. I hope everyone had a very safe and happy Thanksgiving. But like I like to say, please, every week we say it, and we can't wait till we don't have to say it. Please keep in the forefront of your minds our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, and nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Please get out, do something artful. Remember them, say hello for us, and we'll dig you all next week, right?
We'll take you next week.
Okay, bye-bye now. Say.
Bye.